I'm Miriam Huertas. I'm with the Greater Lehigh Valley Chamber of Commerce, and it's my pleasure to welcome all of you here and to be here in honor of this great gentleman, Peter Schweyer. And in addition to welcoming all of you, and really, come on up. Really, we don't bite. Somebody sit here with Peter Lunas. He looks lonely. My job is
Chris
to...
McIntosh, we have a seat for you right next to Pete. Can I sit by Tim? You can.
I'm going to try to just mention all the wonderful dignitaries that we have with us today, and they are in no order whatsoever, except that I'm going to mention Representative Mike Schlossberg first and foremost. And then I'm just going to follow in this order that was delivered to me. So if I miss you, if I mispronounce your name, please, my humble apologies. I'm going to go with Ayub Sharoush from the Syrian Arab American Charitable Association. Thank you for being here. Chris Kaufman with IBEW. And Dave Reichert, also with IBEW. Stephen Barron, Northampton County Controller. Okay, we're just going to clap for everybody, okay? Andrea Noggle, Lehigh County Clerk of Judicial Records, is here with us today. Dennis Howard, Whitehall Township Commissioner. And Mr. Greg Potter, AFC-CIO, is with us today. And my good friend and colleague, Michelle Griffin-Young, is with us today with the Chamber. And I didn't see her, but Cece Garlock is here. She's with the Allentown School Board, as well as Susan Rutt, who is with the Pennsylvania Democratic and State Committee. And Jason Shoup is with us. He's with the Carpenters Union. Can we get a big woo? Jeff Warren, Easton City Council. Then we have several Allentown City Councilmen. Darrell Hendricks is with us. Joe Davis is here. Joe Davis, excuse me. And my buddy Ray O'Connell. And we also have Kevin Lott with the Carpenters Union. And Courtney Robinson with the State Committee. And Celeste D is with us. She's with the Lehigh County Democratic Committee and the State Committee. We have Kevin Lewis with the Carpenters Union. And my old drinking buddy, Fran Lockney, is here also with the Carpenters Union. And if I missed you, because you're all dignitaries in my eyes, and thank you again, all of you, for joining us today. Please accept my apologies. But next, in addition to standing up here with this beautiful family, I have the honor of presenting someone that really needs no introduction, Jennifer Mann. Jennifer Mann is a friend to Allentown, a friend to the business community, a friend to the Lehigh Valley. She served for 14 years in the legislature. She's just one of those people that people go to. You know, and whenever she's in a room, people always want to hobnob with Jen. And why? Because I think she's one of those real people that gets things done. And I really consider her a friend, and she's just done so much for our community. And without further ado, Jennifer Mann.
Thank you. All I can say is you have to respect a campaign that'll pay for beer and wine, but it doesn't have a microphone. That works.
We accept the campaign contributions.
I think we already have our priorities in order, but it really is great to see such a turnout here tonight. Before I get into introducing the man of the hour, I do want to just do two additional introductions. Jeff Glazier is here tonight, a long distinguished service on the school board and a short stint on city council. And also, a former state representative and a mentor of mine, Karen Ritter, is here. Karen served this part of Allentown for many years, and although the fact that the district number will be different, we're really happy that she traveled up from Quakertown tonight to be here to support Pete. Obviously, folks, this is a big deal and a big night and a long time coming. We kind of thought, you know, we had a dry run of this almost 2 years ago, right? Yeah. And it's great to be here tonight, and as I said, it's great to see so many people here. This is important. And for Pete to see this kind of support in the community, putting his name on the ballot, putting himself out there, and going to work for the people of the city of Allentown, as he's done for many years now, it really, really means a lot. So I just want to thank all of you personally, from me and also from Peter, just for your support and for your friendship, for coming out on this beautiful, balmy night to be here and be a part of it. But we all know Pete, and I think I speak, you know, anytime I introduce Pete, and it's getting a little bit routine.
A little bit.
But I really speak from the heart and from personal experience, because Pete is like a brother to me. He is one of my best friends. He served as my chief of staff for almost 9 years, and we were basically inseparable, certainly by day, Jen, don't. You know, but what strikes me about Pete, and I think you all see it in him, is his passion, his love for this city. He truly is an Allentown boy who really cares about his hometown and sincerely wants to make a difference. And that always motivated me, and it always inspired me and kept me focused, because his energy and excitement for even the most mundane things that needed to be done was always there. And when we look in this new district that's been created here in the city of Allentown, there is, without a doubt, nobody that I could imagine that will do a better job, serve this city better, put the city and its people's needs first, work tirelessly, work with great energy and passion than Peter Schweyer. Ladies and gentlemen, your next state representative right here in District 22, Peter Schweyer.
Well, thank everybody ever so much for coming out tonight. I don't know if you noticed, but I just tried to adjust the microphone, and frankly, we've been trying to adjust it for about 3 hours now, so I don't know why we're trying to do so. Folks, it really is very honoring and extremely humbling to announce this candidacy for state representative in the Lehigh Valley's a new 22nd district in front of so many good friends, so many members of my family, my neighbors, and so many people that have been with us from the very beginning. So thank you, everyone, for coming out tonight and joining us. Before we really get into the meat of tonight, there's some folks that I'd like to give a special thank you to, and it should be no surprise to anybody here that I'd like first and foremost, and with all my heart, thank my wife Jen. I mean, look at it. She's always a mother, always the best mom that our kids could ever ask for, and she's been with me from day one. Back in 2002, when we first had this crazy idea that we were going to pursue a life in public service, you know, Jen was with us. And when it was freezing, and it was freezing in 2002, I assure you of that as well, when we were out knocking on doors and doing the things that you have to do to get elected, Jen was with us from day one. And 7 years ago, when we announced our candidacy for city council the first time, she was pregnant with Sarah. And 4 years later, 3 years ago, she was pregnant with Aaron. No, we're not announcing anything, guys. No, but just so you see what difference just a few years can make to our family. I mean, these two beautiful, charming, precocious, smart little girls have changed our lives, and if it weren't for Jen being such a good mom, I'd never be able to do what I do every day. And so, Jen, girls, I love you. Thank you. Now we certainly respect every volunteer in the room, but there is one woman in this room who will always be the best campaign volunteer I will ever have, and that's my mom, Georgette. Mom, I was looking over here. Thanks, Mom. My stepfather, Gary Vosler. Thank you both for being out here. And I'd also like to introduce my father-in-law, Jim Serra. You know, there's an old joke behind every successful Man, there's a surprised woman and an absolutely shocked father-in-law, and but he keeps coming. So I guess we've done something right through the years, and we appreciate it. So, and on behalf of us to all of our family members that are in the audience, thank you so much for coming out. Three folks on stage to my right that I'd also like to introduce. First and foremost, Mike Schlossberg, one of my best friends in the world. Mike has done an incredible job as a member of the General Assembly in 1 year and 1 month. Certainly made a name for himself. Yeah. Certainly has made a name for himself in a very short time. He was an outstanding member of City Council. He announces his re-election candidacy on February 17th at 5:30 at West End Youth Center. Thank you very much. I got that all right, right? Yeah. Very cool, thank you. And I encourage you all to come out. I know Mike will have a crowd every bit as good as this, and he deserves it. He's done a great job for us in Allentown. Mike, thanks as always for all you do. My dear friend Miriam Huertas. Miriam has been a good friend for a long time, but going way back to the very formation of the Hamilton Street, Main Street District, and even before that. We've worked together very well, very hard for downtown Allentown, a passion of both of ours. She's agreed to serve as campaign treasurer for us. She's taken on that role and responsibility. Miriam, we thank you for that. And that's why she's so good at what she does. Thank you, Miriam. And finally, another one of my very closest friends, Representative Jennifer Mann. I could call you Jen now. But Jen, I think you can. But Jen, you've been there from day one. You've meant so much to me, obviously professionally and personally to me and my whole family. You know, when it's 11 years ago now. Gosh, it's been 11 years ago that I made the move to go work for you. We've been working together for that amount of time. The opportunity to come from Bethlehem to come back and work in my hometown. For somebody that I've always had so much respect for, meant so much to me. Jen, thank you for not only all you've taught me through the years, but just being one of my best friends. Thank you for everything. And so, folks, I'd just like to tell you a little bit about my story, just very briefly, and a little bit about why we're here tonight and about what we need to do in Harrisburg. You know, for those of you who don't know, I'm really just a working class kid from Center City, Allentown. I was born and raised in 10th and Chew Street. My mom and dad were working class people, and you know, they instilled in me some values that I think are kind of basic and common sense values that aren't unique to me, but are very typical of Allentown, Lehigh Valley, and Pennsylvania as a whole. And I thank them, you know, and the older you get an opportunity to reflect, especially when you have a family of your own. I thank them so much for instilling those values in me. You know, my dad was a public servant, very proud public servant. He was an SEIU member, a proud member of our city's union. And he had a stable job. Every day he would get up, he would go to work. We knew he always had a paycheck. We knew he always had access to medical insurance so that if I'd get sick or hurt myself, which happened far too frequently playing sports, I'm not very coordinated, I would always be able to go see a doctor. And in addition, you know, I'm the first person in my immediate family to graduate from college. My dad didn't go to college. My mom didn't finish nursing school, and so, but they always insisted and pushed me to go and get a degree. And you know, I met Jen at Penn State, and some of my other best friends, my friend Victor over here. You know, it was meant so much to me, not only in terms of the education, but the social aspect of it all. And as I said, you know, I grew up in Center City, Allentown, and diversity in Allentown's not a new phenomenon. You know, I grew up in a neighborhood with Dominicans and Puerto Ricans and African Americans and Syrians, and these were my neighbors, these were my friends, these were the kids I played with as a kid growing up. These were the people that my dad worked with the city. And the values of basic respect and human dignity that my mom and dad taught me from day one really have stuck with me. And I have to tell you that every decision I've made as a member of City Council, every bill that I've written, every deliberation I was part of, every negotiation that I was privy to, were infused with those basic values that Mom and Dad taught me 30 years ago at 10th and Chew. And, you know, as I look around Pennsylvania today, for some reason, I think that those basic values that, quite frankly, I think everyone in this room sort of thinks, yeah, that's sort of what we're supposed to be focusing on, it's gotten lost. It's gotten lost in Harrisburg. You know, we talk about job creation, and anybody in the business community here knows that government doesn't create a lot of jobs, but we can influence the market to be able to create the right kind of jobs for us in our community, so that people can have a livable wage, they can raise their families, that they can retire with a certain amount of dignity, and that they can do so in a manner that's accessible to everyone in Allentown. And I'm committed to doing that as your next state representative, working with our private industry so that people have the opportunity to have good family-sustaining jobs, so that their children are able to have the same opportunities I had as a kid. You heard that there are a number of our friends from organized labor here, and I don't apologize for being a friend of labor. You know, the rights and protections that my father had, that my mom and I were able to enjoy, were in large part because of the opportunity to be a dues-paying member of SEIU, and I'm never going to forget that. And we're seeing just in the last week the assault on collective bargaining. And that's not something I will ever stand for as state representative. So when it comes to addressing the income disparities, creating jobs in our core areas, I will be right there with all the residents of Allentown and each and every one of you as we move forward. I mentioned that, you know, I also always had the opportunity to go to a doctor. And I see John Nespoli, President and CEO of Sacred Heart Hospital, my boss, and a person who I've become very close to over the last couple of years. And John, I'd like to thank you for all you've done for me and my family, and all that Sacred Heart does for our community. And not only Sacred Heart, we have outstanding healthcare institutions around the Lehigh Valley. We really do. We're very blessed. But for some reason, we've sort of forgotten that everybody should have the ability to go to a doctor. Just the other day, I was talking to one of our OBGYNs. There's a 17-week-old pregnant woman from Orfield, from the suburbs, working class family, husband has a job, they have no health care. And they're falling in that donut hole between what they're eligible for the Affordable Care Act and what the medical assistance limits are right now. Falling into that hole. And that's not fair. We had the opportunity, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania had the opportunity to take money from the federal government and expand Medicaid. Now, I don't know about any of you, but my federal taxes haven't gone down at all in the last couple of years. It's not like by saying no to this pot of money that our tax rates are going down. All we're doing is subsidizing the health care of people who live in New York, New Jersey, Ohio, states all around us, and not subsidizing our own health care here in Pennsylvania. As a member of the General Assembly, I will be on the forefront of making sure everybody has the ability to go see a doctor, that everybody has the ability to make sure their kids are healthy and happy and safe. Talked a little bit about education in terms of my core values, the things I was taught as a kid, and I know the values that all of you share here. Please, Erin, be careful going down those stairs. Good news is I have health care. She could go to the doctor if she falls. You know, honestly, you know, my wife is a pre-K teacher. She's a certified early childhood educator. And our daughters have had the opportunity to have good daycare and have that head start that every kid deserves. You know, if it's programs like Keystone Stars or Pre-K Counts, these are real programs with proven results. We can't turn our back on not the next generation, but the generation after that by, you know, routinely denying kids the opportunity to learn how to read before kindergarten. Speaking of kindergarten in our public schools, Sarah, who was the first one to jump down from stage, is a first grader at Lehigh Parkway Elementary School in the Allentown School District. And contrary to what some folks may tell you, she is doing fantastic in the school district. She's having an outstanding experience. She jumped 4 reading levels. I'm going to be a proud parent right now. She jumped 4 reading levels in 1 marking period in 3 months. Why? Yes, Jen and I work with her at home. We're parents. You always have to be a parent no matter what school your kid goes to. But because she has good, dedicated teachers, educators that are helping our kids learn every day. My wife and I aren't upset about our decisions to send our oldest child to the Allentown School District. We're proud of it. But we're also not foolish enough to believe that we can continue cutting teachers left and right and assuming that we're going to be able to get the same great results. We're not stupid. And we need to invest in our public schools, make sure every kid has the same opportunities that all of us had in this room to be successful. And I mentioned that Jen and I met at Penn State, and everybody here knows that I'm kind of a Penn State fanatic. And, you know, but we're still paying my student loans off 14 years later. But you know what? I had the opportunity to go to college, not because I was an athlete, Not because I had some big, thank you, not because I had some big war chest saved up that we were able to go, but because I had the opportunities to have FIA loans and Pell Grants. And I think that was a good investment by the taxpayers in me. I'm giving back to my community, and I know so many people in this room went to college because of those investments. And we can't keep pulling the ladder up behind us, folks. We need to make sure that we're training people for the jobs in the coming years, that the next generation has the opportunity to have a good job, a livable wage, whether it's college or trade school or technical school. And the last value that we talked about briefly was that basic understanding and respect for human dignity. And again, growing up in downtown, I was raised by, a multicultural and diverse population. And there's two things I'd like to touch on, and these are not new issues. These are things that everybody in the room should know where I stand. But first and foremost, I was proud to be a co-author of Allentown's historic domestic partnership bill, and I just wish we didn't have to, because as a member of the General Assembly, I will support marriage equality in Pennsylvania. It's about time that we recognize the rights of all Pennsylvanians, regardless of their sexual orientation. And also, we all also understand the demographic and makeup of the city of Allentown and of this legislative district. We have to be inclusive to everybody in our community. Regardless of where you come from, you should be able to come and communicate with your state representative. I've promised before, and I'll reiterate that promise, I will always have someone on my staff who's able to speak Spanish, read Spanish, who's qualified, who will know all the state programs, so that if somebody comes in and they're able to, if they have an issue with PennDOT, or if they want to have an in-depth conversation with us about a piece of legislation, that they'll always be able to do so. Folks, again, these aren't radical ideas. This is good old-fashioned Pennsylvania Dutch common sense, at least where I come from. And somehow, some way, we've gotten away from that. And it's just not, it's unfathomable how we've gotten here. We continue to take apart our safety net. We continue to tell folks that keep trying, but there's no light at the end of the tunnel for you. And we need to stop that. We need to put a stop to that. Folks, we're going to run a modern, an effective, and a good campaign. It's great that I'm up here and all these folks are up here and we're talking about our values and we're talking about the issues that we want to accomplish and how we're going to get there on our record of accomplishment. All of that is real and it's important. But we need to take all of the energy in this room. We need to knock on doors. We need to spread the word out. If anybody's willing to give a half an hour of your day, a half a day, a week, 4 months of your time to help us at the doors, help us on the phones, help us on election day with our polls. We got to spread the word about our message. If you live in the district and you're willing to put a lawn sign up, we would appreciate that. Folks, we need to get out there. We need to tell everybody that I'm the right candidate for this seat, that together we can make Allentown a better place, that we can make the Lehigh Valley a better place, and we can turn things around in Pennsylvania. Folks, I know we're going to win this race. And with your help, we're going to not only win this race, but we're going to make Pennsylvania a better place. Thank you all so much. Let's get it done. Now, Mike Schlossberg would yell at me if I failed to mention that if you have Facebook, check in. Let the whole world know through social media that you were here tonight. We have a check-in page. Courtney knows it. I forget what he told me 20 minutes ago. Check in, folks. The place is going to be open for a while. Again, thanks so much for coming out.